With Sega officially declaring 2024 as the year of Shadow the Hedgehog and the release of the third Sonic movie just around the corner, it only makes sense to visit Sonic X Shadow Generations. This exciting adventure is 2 games in one, a remaster of Sonic Generations, originally released in 2011, and an all-new campaign featuring the anti-hero himself. As far as first impressions go, this bundle hit the mark. These games are fast, action-packed, and a must-have for any Sonic or Shadow fan. Hey, Stuart here, reading the words of Elena Swan. Let's begin. The stories in both games follow similar beats. In Sonic Generations, a monster appears during Sonic's birthday party and kidnaps his friends. The monster can consume time itself, leaving only a white blank landscape in its wake. Sonic travels through time, teaming up with a younger version of himself, and discovers that his speed is the key to restoring the land and saving his friends. The relationship between the two Sonics is depicted as light-hearted and friendly. Even though the older Sonic is the only one who talks, you can tell they're on the same page when they interact. Meanwhile, Shadow Generations takes place around the same time. Shadow is investigating strange signals from the space colony Ark and encounters Black Doom, who plans to devour the world. He also reunites with allies, some of whom are the last people he'd expect to see. The ultimate lifeform must confront his past and fight for his future. Since Sonic Generations is a remaster, the main event here is Shadow's solo campaign. That isn't to say that there is no fun to be had in Sonic's story, but ironically, Shadow is the one who shines brighter here. There are similar stakes, but with a darker atmosphere, heavier music, and a ramped-up difficulty level, the latter adventure is unmistakably Shadow's story. There was even a short animated web series that centered around his thoughts before going to the Ark. Even though he has been depicted as cold and stoic in recent years, players see a more emotional side to the Dark Hedgehog when he finds friends from his past. During his journey, Shadow grows stronger physically and mentally, but there is a catch. Shadow and Black Doom are linked to one another. As the former grows more powerful throughout his mission, gaining new abilities, so does the latter. The gameplay is simple and consists of clearing levels, beating challenges, and engaging in boss fights. The levels in Sonic Generations are divided into 2 acts, each act representing Sonic from different points in time. Act 1, featuring the younger Sonic, represents early Sonic games with a 2D side-scrolling perspective, while Act 2 represents the 3D Sonic games of today. Both acts are fun to play, but it is worth noting that Act 1 is usually easier than Act 2. The levels in Shadow Generations are a bit harder than the Act 2 levels in Sonic's campaign. It was much easier to get an A ranking in the latter, for example. If I had to describe these games in one word, it would be fast-paced. In fact, the game is always encouraging you to go faster, with a stopwatch for each level and a rank based on how quickly you clear the stage. I had mixed feelings about the fast pace. On one hand, the rush makes playing these games exhilarating. The stopwatch also adds to the game's replayability because you are always encouraged to one-up yourself. On the other, it is really easy to miss a button and not make the right jump, losing a life. Thankfully, there are plenty of checkpoints throughout the main levels, so you don't have to restart completely each time you make a mistake. There are also some vibrant and lively environments shown in each level, from the space colony Ark to a sprawling industrial landscape to a peaceful valley. However, the downside is that it is hard to marvel at these unique environments with the fast-paced nature of the game. Finally, certain cutscenes bring the action to a screeching halt, but thankfully they do come with a skip button. Though both games have the same rollercoaster pacing, the player is able to do more as Shadow, most notably using Chaos Control to stop time. For example, he is able to stop projectiles mid-air and even use them as platforms. Little touches here and there bring the games to life, from the stellar voice acting to the original soundtrack that amplifies the emotions of every scene. There is also a lot of artwork and music to collect, which can be viewed from the collection room in both games. The map is straightforward and easy to follow in Sonic Generations, but it is even more grand in Shadow's adventure. It can be difficult at times to find your way around in Shadow Generations if you're looking to replay an old level, but there is a map on the pause screen that shows you where you need to go. Sonic X Shadow Generations is a speedy adventure that fans of the franchise will adore. The game gives players plenty of time to spend with the iconic blue hedgehog while also putting a spotlight on his mysterious rival. With lots of action and adventure, these games balance fun and heartfelt emotion.